All right, guys, let's take a look at the Breitling SuperOcean 42 millimeter in the white dial. So first off, I want to say big thanks to my buddy Richard over at Saltzman's for hooking me up with this watch and sending in loaners, because that's how this one actually ended up in my possession. He knew I wanted it. He sent it over for me to check it out, and I paid him as quick as I could because this watch had to stay on my wrist. This was the first pickup of 2021 for me, and I'm very happy that I did. I look forward to spending a lot of wrist time with this guy here. Let's get right into the watch specs, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Breitling, because I know this watch and a lot of other Breitling get a decent amount of attention, but I feel like some people are missing the boat on them a little bit, or maybe they just totally dislike it for whatever reason. But I'm a Breitling guy. I absolutely love the brand, and I love this watch, and I look forward to checking out some other Breitlings soon. So 42 millimeter watch case on this, 50 lug to lug. You can see the bracelet tapers down immediately, as does the case kind of just tapers right down as well. 13.5 millimeter thick. That includes the double dome sapphire crystal, which has amazing AR coating top and bottom. It basically disappears. So really the watch case is probably only like 12. You have another 1.5 millimeters because of that double dome. So it's pretty thin, especially considering it's a 500 meter depth rating on this watch. So 20 millimeter lug width, bracelet tapers down to 18. Some people don't like this angle cut bracelet, or whatever this is called, the professional bracelet. I even showed it to my wife and she asked what was wrong with it. Well, nothing's wrong with it. It's actually one of the most amazing bracelets on wrist. I mean, bracelet guys, they geek out over things. You'll know that just the fact that this bracelet can do that right there, you'll know right away that this thing is going to be crazy comfortable. The clasp, I think there's maybe some people out there that would like to see further upgrades. This is already an upgrade. 4 micro adjusts, no dive extension. You have screw links on the bracelet, by the way. Bracelet's a little weird to size. You can look that up yourself. Maybe I'll do it in the future. But I have to say, I personally am 100% fine with this clasp. Yes, maybe an upgrade over the upgrade is needed, but sometimes there's maybe collateral damage. I worry that the upgrade is going to make the clasp like too thick or something. This one's thin and it's comfortable and it works. So I almost don't want to see them screw that part of it up, because I do like the Omega clasp, how it's adjust on the fly and everything like that, but it's thick and this one's not thick, and this one wears really good on wrist. So maybe don't screw that up. Here's a look at the case back, and the shape of the case, guys, too. The way these cases are shaped and formed is just awesome. If you ever get a chance to, maybe I'll see if I can find the video and I'll put a link in the description. But there's a really cool, I think how Breitlings are made type video or something like that. Give it a watch if you haven't already, because it is an awesome video. And it's gonna, any brand that you can really see where it's high production value and they kind of show you the inner workings of the brand and how it's made and stuff like that, will add a little more romance to the watch and the brand. For me, it does anyway, and it makes me appreciate it more. Okay, let's get back on track here. I'm gonna look at my notes. COSC, this is the Breitling Caliber 17, otherwise known as the ETA 2824, worked over by Breitling to get COSC specs on it. And I don't know if I have the paperwork, but it is COSC. It's also labeled on the dial. If you look, you have the wing, the Breitling wing logo up there. It's awesome. That's applied. The rest of it's all pressed into the dial. But right below that, you see the SuperOcean in cursive, which is fun. It's awesome. And then you see chronometer. So it's a chronometer grade, COSC, 500 meter, Swiss made. I get some people would like to see the date out of there. Just remove it, right? Do a no date maybe and a date option and add that large 3 on there. I'm kind of curious to see what that dial would look like. I like the date. I like this dial layout. I know the symmetry is kind of gone from the dial, and I don't know. It would be kind of fun to see a little rendering, or maybe if Breitling would do it. But you got to remember, Breitling usually puts a ton of polish and information on the dial. This is really simple compared to how they traditionally do things. But check out the full blue, not blued, but blue handset with the large red arrow tip seconds hand, super legible. You have that matching blue, that's a DLC, diamond-like coating is what it's called, DLC, inlaid into the bezel. And the bezel is just clean and sharp. That's all milled out, so when you see the brushing, the indices on the, or whatever you call the markers on the bezel, that's all just milled out. So the bezel is one piece. And then that inner polished ring there separates the crystal from the bezel, adds a little more dimension, and actually makes the watch kind of present a little bit smaller on wrist. Just a beautiful watch. You can also see the screws. There should be 6 of them holding the bezel on. That also sets the tension. So the way this bezel is constructed, it's not pressed on. If you've ever modded a Seiko or something like that, you know the bezel's pressed on. This one is set on and then screwed down for retention. A little bit different construction. 120 click, excellent, excellent precision on this thing. If you like to turn the bezels, you're going to like turning the bezel on this one. Screw down crown, obviously. And that's super strong too. Signed with the Breitling B. Let's pop this thing on wrist. Retail price, $39.50. Oh, I want to show you something real quick. This is something, I don't know, people maybe you know or don't know. Bruce told me about this, my buddy Bruce Williams. So the Breitling clasp, the old ones and this one, when you're pushing it down, don't just push it there. Actually push it this way, like that. You hear that? That's how you easily snap it into place. So here is the Breitling SuperOcean 42 on my 7¼ inch wrist. You can kind of see, I know some of these videos, they always look larger because it's so close up, but this thing presents smaller on wrist, even though it's a 42x50 watch. I'll put the Omega on here in a second and you'll see. And even if you hold the Seamaster next to it at the same plane, you'll see the Seamaster just looks larger. And they're like the same size watch. So if we put the Seamaster on, see, not all watches are created equal. It just looks larger on wrist, and it's the same size, 42x50. All right, back to the Breitling. Awesome loom. Let's check it out. I think we talked about price, right? $39.50. The Omega, $52.50. You can get a Tudor Black Bay 41 with the in-house movement for $3,800. So that one probably competes with this one. I don't know if you can get discounts on the Tudor. You can definitely get discounts on the Breitling. That would definitely push it down below. You might see in the background the Oris, Aquas, Christopher Ward. Those watches are a fraction of the price. So, you know, when you jump those tiers, things get a little weird. They get a little complicated. It's only you that has to decide where you want to go with this watch journey. For me personally, I love the Breitling, but I love the Seamaster. I love the Oris. I love the Christopher Wards. Heck, I still love my Monster. So this hobby escalates quickly and it gets weird very quickly. So you can see nice loom on this. It's very potent. Some sort of C3. I don't know if it's just a regular C3 that they use, but it's very green, very bright, and it's long lasting. So again, thanks to Richard over at Saltzman's. I'll put a link to their website in the description. Tell them I sent you. Maybe you can get some special treatment, or at least ask for it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.